Hello, parents and scholars, and happy Family Day. My name is Chris Allen.
And I'm Heidi Hingst, and we are so excited to show you what we've been up to these past 2 weeks here at Missouri Scholars Academy.
As you probably know, scholars have been kept very busy throughout MSA, but what have they actually been doing?
Let's take a look at this segment about the 3 communities of MSA and go deeper into what their classes are really like.
Within MSA, scholars take part in 3 main communities: major, minor/core PSD, and houses, giving many opportunities to build lifelong friendships and create incredible experiences. Scholars spend 3 hours each day, 6 days each week, in their major course. Bonds are built during this time while scholars work collaboratively in categories of mathematics, science, social studies, or humanities. Scholars discuss ideas such as music theory, modern art, Japanese culture, the education system, and Shakespeare.
My name is Shadi. I teach a class called Understanding the Modern Middle East, which is a pretty self-explanatory title. We're looking at understanding mostly the last century of history in the Middle East and also thinking about the role of the international community and the U.S. and what we should and should not be doing in the region.
My name is Barry, and I'm in Finding Your Voice, Explorations in Writing. Basically, this major is all about creative writing. So, for example, today we were given a prompt and told to write in a certain genre, and we're supposed to construct a story using that genre.
Scholars also study a second academic field 1 hour each afternoon, Monday through Friday. With a different teacher and many new peers, scholars are able to connect with others from the academy.
Okay, I'm Melissa and I teach Full Steam Ahead as my minor in the afternoons. We do lots of cool science challenges and experiments. We had a little mishap with our elephant toothpaste and it kind of went everywhere, but we've done a lot of other fun things over the last couple weeks.
And I'm in the minor of What Does It Mean to Be Human? And it's about what makes us different from animals and what makes us similar, and how we've adapted over the years and how complex we are.
Core PSD takes place with the Scholars Minor class and allows scholars to discuss personal experiences and bond in an environment not typically found in a classroom.
Hi, I'm Joel Jeffries. I teach one of the PSD groups, and to me PSD is really about a way for us to explore emotional intelligence in a way that's not really talked about very much. We do activities that kind of bring out discussions about how society interacts with each other, how we can measure our own emotional health. And I think it's something that MSA really benefits from and kind of makes this experience a lot more than any other place.
Hey, my name is Grace Hu, and in CORE, we connect to other people and ourselves in ways we haven't been able to in the past.
Aside from the academic portion of MSA, scholars also build communities with those in their house. Each RA advises 15 to 20 scholars from the same floor in formation of a house, complete with a name, hand signals, and many jokes. All of the communities present at MSA create an accepting and safe environment for everyone involved, aiding in making MSA a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
For Missouri Scholars Action News, this is Kendall Spencer,
Sophia Bolin,
Jimmy Moorfield,
And Morgan McGurk.
Thanks for that awesome video, guys. We sure do love our Action News major, and it's great to see the other scholars exploring new ideas.
You may be wondering what other interests scholars have been able to develop. Our schedules are pretty much packed with guest speakers, games and activities, field trips, and much more.
Let's look at the segment about activities the Academy has offered so far.
This is Keaton from MSAN, talking about some of the many activities that are provided for scholars here at MSA.
In the early morning, scholars are given the opportunity to go running, do yoga, play basketball, or do Zumba.
There's a wide variety of activities to participate in. Here's Brian Stillman on what that means for scholars.
Activities, I think, are important because we're giving opportunity to scholars, to students who don't have these same opportunities in their home schools.
We're here with Bella. Bella, what do activities mean to you?
Activities mean getting to try out something new and fun that I wouldn't normally get to experience.
And how do you decide what activities to provide for the day?
it's a long process of I try to get a whole mix of genre, of styles of presentation, of representation of all sorts of styles and presenters, and some of them are staff, and some are from outside our community. All told, we'll have 80 speakers come to the Academy over the course of 3 weeks to make our over 200 different activities.
Along with great afternoon activities, scholars participate in fun evening dances and game shows. Keaton Batts from MSAN reporting in.
Wow, that was great. I know I've enjoyed everything I've done in my afternoon and evening activities.
You know, the lectures and activities we've experienced are fun, but it's the RAs and the faculty members that really make this experience memorable.
Let's take a look at this segment of interviews from our staff members.
MSA is one of my very favorite things.
We asked our MSA staff a select series of questions pertaining to them and MSA. Here are the questions.
How did you get involved with MSA?
I got involved with MSA because I know Frank Corley. So Frank Corley is a teacher at the high school that I attended. And so this past school year, I had commented on Facebook that I was going to be moving schools teaching physics. And Frank responded to that Facebook post and said, "Hey, we're looking for a physics teacher at MSA." And I replied to Frank with, "What's MSA? Never heard of it." And so then I looked it up, and I think within an hour and a half, 2 hours of Frank having made that comment, I had sent Rachel, the director of the program, my resume and cover letter and said, "Hey, this is something I've got to do. I would love to interview." And now here I am.
I got involved with MSA because I was a scholar myself, and I always wanted to come back to teach ever since I left.
I was actually different from a lot of people. I was recruited to come and teach at the Scholars Academy. They wanted a math teacher, and they wanted a math teacher who would teach a probability and statistics course. And I didn't teach high school, I taught junior high. And I didn't feel like I was qualified. Some people had some confidence that I could learn quickly and teach quickly, so I eventually said yes to the job, and it worked out really well for me. And it worked out well for the academy, I think. So there I was.
My former colleague at the old school I used to work at, Jen Meyer, her and her husband were teachers here. They decided for the summer that they would take this time off. And so she texted me one day and asked if I'd be interested, and then talked me through the entire process, and the rest is history.
I was a scholar in 1993, and in the year 2000 I started my teaching career, and came on that year as a cadet teacher, an assistant teacher, and the rest is history.
I got involved because I was presenting at the Gifted Association of Missouri, and Jen Fisher, who's well connected with the Academy, came to my session. I went to hers, we got to talking, and she's like, "You need to do this." And that was 2 years ago, and this year we made it work.
Why do you come back and spend your summer with high schoolers?
Was this a ploy to learn about what I do?
All right, okay. I keep coming back because every summer I learn so many new things from my students, and they're just great kids here.
It's for the money. I mean, we get an enormous amount. No, the whole environment is just so right. It's all the things that are right about education, and very little of what's a hassle in education. There's no grades, there's no course credit, there's no homework, there's no pressure to succeed, and what usually turns out is that the scholars learn twice as much as or 3 or 4 times as much in the short 3 weeks than they ever thought possible.
I was not previously a scholar. In fact, I was beaten out by my good friend to this day, Chris Park, because I think it's a unique environment. To give kids the flexibility to learn things that they're passionate about, but without the pressure of grades or competition, where it's truly just an environment where, one, they have responsibility for their learning, and it's something they're interested from the get-go. Like, I think those are two things that are conducive to a good learning environment. And two, the kids are unique. It's the brightest kids in Missouri.
More than I really would ever realize, because of the energy and the vitality that they bring to conversation, to learning, to discovery, curiosity. Wonderful to be around and to be challenged by and to be invigorated by.
It's pretty much the only thing it's the only thing I want to do. That's a joke. No, it's actually really great. I love what I do. I think teaching game design is fun. I think you learn a lot about yourself. MSA is a chance to embrace your imperfections as sources of creativity.
What's your day-to-day schedule at MSA look like?
So I wake up anytime between like 5:45 and like 8:15, and I come down and I either like work one of the shifts at the desk or like lead a morning like exercise activity. And then after that, like I eat breakfast and everyone goes to majors, and I like hang out and play like cards and stuff with all the other RAs. Sometimes I'll run on like errands. Like today I went to Walmart, and then we have lunch. Big group, minor, PSD. After that, I usually go to like an afternoon activity. If not an afternoon activity, I'm either like running errands for Frankie or working the desk or like a desk shift. And then I go to dinner. Sometimes I like take a little nap in between like dinner and evening activities. And then evening activities. And then I come back here, hang out with some of the scholars, start my class meeting, and then I usually try to find time to like shower or something before lights out. Then I go to bed.
It's very, very similar to yours. Basically do the same stuff as you, right? Big group, and then instead of going to minor, I just do more RA work, which is kind of like some administrative stuff, some like discussion with other.
Were you previously a scholar?
No, I was not. No, I am not involved with MSA in any way prior to being faculty.
I was not previously a scholar. In fact, I was beaten out by my good friend to this day, Chris Park. And so as soon as I found out that I'd be teaching there, he was the first person I told. Because I know this experience meant a lot to him when he was in high school. And he's not the type of person I would think would be normally into this type of thing, but he loved it. It's part of the reason why he decided to go to Mizzou, and so I knew it'd be a cool opportunity.
I jokingly came up with a term for those of us on faculty who weren't. It's called NAMSA, which means no MSA. I would have liked to, obviously, but I don't even know if I knew that it existed. I went to a private school.
I was a scholar in 2014.
What's your biggest accomplishment?
Probably becoming an RA here. TBH. I think my biggest accomplishment was probably winning international extemp at state my senior year of high school. It has shown really that my hard work paid off and that I'd really grown to love something that used to be really hard for me.
I don't know, like just like getting through college, like I just submitted, like finished taking the MCAT and like submitted my applications for med school, so like that was pretty big.
I am on a very good merit scholarship at the university that I am super, super proud of, and it's like playing a really big role in my life right now. So definitely, it's kind of like a really physical way for me to reflect on all of the hard work that I did in high school and seeing how it has culminated in a very good quality of life for me right now.
I would say one of my biggest accomplishments was being a member of Blue Key Honor Society, which coincidentally I'm wearing. But it's just a service organization on Truman's campus that is held in high regard. And the reason why it's a big accomplishment is because it's not just service, it's service, leadership, scholarship, and integrity. And so we really did look for people who have the highest quality of all of those things. And so it meant a lot to me when I got into it, because it meant that people saw those qualities or the potential for me to exhibit those qualities.
Describe MSA in one sentence.
MSA is an opportunity for students to potentially learn how to form community in meaningful and lasting ways, and maybe learn some other stuff along the way.
MSA is what can bring harmony to people who think differently and who think different.
MSA is a place for incredible, gifted students to come and learn how to be themselves.
For me, Missouri Scholars Academy is a place where people grow.
An opportunity for enrichment unlike any other.
One sentence. A group of wacky, wild, witty, and wickedly smart people.
Thank you.
MSA is a community where learning and taking risks and being bold is not only encouraged, but it's just kind of the standard way that things go.
The freedom to learn in a way that enhances both the student and the teacher.
Thanks for that great video, guys. We love our teachers and RAs.
And last but not least, we've got to highlight the incredible scholars attending the Academy.
Let's head over to this segment about the scholars.
I'm Hannah Rowland with Missouri Scholars Action News, here to talk to you about the perspectives of scholars on the Academy. Though each Missouri Scholar is different, we all have one aspect in common, a shared community here at the Academy. Each scholar's experience in this community is unique, so we decided to discover these differences. Here at the Academy, every day involves afternoon and evening activities. We hear from speakers, participate in hands-on activities, travel around Columbia, and provide service. With all of these options, there's always something to do, and each scholar has found a different activity most important to them.
I think the speech done by Steve Wanser, it was incredible, it was life-changing.
Core PSD because it's allowed me to open up to others who I have never met before, and it'll allow me to open up to others back home.
The very first activity actually when she came in to talk about giftedness, because I've never really known what I wanted to do as a career, but I've always been interested in like psychology and stuff, and her speech was just like really motivating and like fascinating to me. We as scholars go through a transformation here while we are learning and experiencing all of these new things. In the opening ceremony, the speakers were constantly saying that MSA was a life-awakening experience. For many scholars, this has been absolutely true.
MSA has taught me to be a more open-minded person.
It made me feel a lot more confident in myself, I'll be honest. I didn't really view myself as a social person before this, so yeah.
Definitely made me a little more willing to like take risks, like put myself out there and try new things and like share more with others, I guess.
I think a lot more openly now about, the general effects things can have.
I get up earlier and I go try new things that I have not had the chance to experience before.
I think I've gained the ability to speak to more people in a lot easier way. I can approach strangers and I don't have that like sort of anxiety about doing so.
Part of MSA is being away from home and familiarity. Most schools send only a few students to MSA, so scholars came here knowing almost no one. Through our time together, scholars have formed brand new friendships. Sadly, at the end of MSA, we will part and go back to our homes far away from these new friends. Still, many of these bonds are strong enough to last. I think our friendships will last a really long time, and we've planned to go to Alumni Day and the reunion.
Oh, definitely. I've met a lot of people from my area, which is near St. Charles, and most people here are from St. Louis, so I definitely plan to keep in touch with them in the future.
Social media is a thing. I feel like friendships will last.
And so we've kind of joked about like going to Chicken and Pickle together.
Some of the friendships I've formed here are even stronger than those I've been building up like over the years in high school.
MSA has been impactful for most scholars. The laughs and learning have created memories to last a lifetime. When looking back in time at the Academy, many adjectives come to mind.
Fulfilling.
Unique.
Cool.
Awesome.
Challenging.
Amazing.
Humbling.
Intriguing.
Community.
Life-changing.
Fantastic.
Hummus.
Dope.
Liddy.
Fun.
Life-changing. Community.
Inspiring.
Insane. Really no other word.
I'm Hannah Rowland with Missouri Scholars Action News.
Wow, that was awesome. It's great to see everyone enjoying their experience as much as we are.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm Chris Allen.
And I'm Heidi Hinks, and this was Missouri Scholars Action News.